All right, so we are going to do our first motion tutorial here, and this is a file that you're going to create, and just start getting acquainted with that because this program is pretty powerful in terms of being able to do some neat text effects and so on that you'll want to use in future movies. So we're going to load up Motion, and it should come up to this type of project browser. Make sure you go to blank and click on Motion Project, because that's the type of project we're going to create. I'm going to say Open. And it loads up to this maybe complicated screen if it's the first time you've ever worked on a program like this. But basically, there's different areas that you're going to work in, and you don't need to understand everything right now to be able to do what we need to do. But you can change around some of the size of different things in order to see different parts of the window a little bit bigger as you need to. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click into this big black space. That's like the area where we're creating our film. And I'm going to go to the zoom feature up here and say fit. And that allows us to see the entire canvas all at once. Over here we have some tools that we can use, and over here there's some other tools. We're going to use the text tool right now, as well as the camera to make some 3D effects. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create some text by clicking on the text tool, and clicking the canvas. And I want you to type in your name, but we're going to just use Eden Media Arts for right now. I've typed that in, and I'm going to hit escape, and that gives me my whole text box. And if you notice, as I drag it around, I can center it vertically by using this yellow guide, and then I can also center it horizontally by using the other guide. And right there, that's center. I'm going to go up onto the top left here and use the library to explore different text styles. So I'm just going to take something that's already pre-created here, maybe this neon text, and I'm going to slide that neon. By the way, when you click on it, you can see on the top left what it looks like. And I'm going to slide that right on top of it to create that. Now you notice it changed the size of my text, so now I'm just going to recenter this. Great. So I've got my text. Now what can I do? Well, I can click on it. I can go to the inspector, and the inspector allows you to change stuff about it. So I can still change the style of font that I want. I can change the font specifically here. It'll still keep the style, and I can change the size. Maybe this Tron looking font is good, so I'm going to pick that. I'm going to go to the style here, and maybe I want a different gradient, so I'm going to pick different colors here. Double click on here and pick a red for the top here, and maybe it goes to a yellow. This is maybe not a great color combination, but we're just going to use it for this project. So now that I have the text looking like I want it to, I'm just going to create an animation. And so down here, if you use the scrubber, you can scrub your needle across here, where you can see that there's no animation going on right now because it's just a word. So I'm going to create the animation. So first of all, I have to go to this Create a Camera button here. And by clicking on that, it'll say, do you want to switch to 3D? Yes, we do, because that's what we're trying to do. And as soon as I do that, it gives me a camera view. Well, this camera view can be changed through these buttons right here on the top right. And by clicking and dragging, I can change the view. Now, I'm not moving the words, I'm moving where the camera is, and that might be a little bit hard for you to understand. But see, because the camera is now twisted, I can kind of see behind the words and so on. So I'm just going to return it back to somewhat normal there. And here's how we're going to create our effect or animation. So I'm going to bring the needle all the way to the beginning, and this is a keyframe button to record where I have the camera going. So I'm going to hit that to activate that. And so from the 0 frame until maybe 3 seconds, you can see where the seconds here in the middle on the counter. I'm going to change the camera so that it zooms in a bit. So I'm clicking and dragging on these buttons on the top right, and it's also going to kind of twist a bit or rotate. I'm going to move it so it's still centering the word. Great. And now I'm going to change my scrubber here, so I go to the 6-second mark. So in the next 6 seconds, I still want it to zoom in. I still want it to rotate and keep the word center. Maybe rotate just a bit more. And then by the end here, I'm going to scrub all the way to the end. I want it to have, it'll zoom in a lot faster now. And it's going to go, I'm just going to make it go right to the A there. I can make it go through, but I just want you to see where I'm stopping it. Now I have to disactivate, or deactivate I should say, the keyframe record button. And if you see, as I scrub, you could see the animation I just created. So I'm going to go back to the beginning and hit play. And it figures all the middle steps out for you. Now it's choppy because I went really quickly. But what I want you to do is I want you to figure out a way to use your own name, create an animation, and using like a textile that you like and an animation of the camera that you like. Okay? Tinker around with it, play with the buttons, and see what you can come up with.